Good morning, sunshine. Happy Halloween. Today I'm Minnie Mouse and I'm eating Reese's Pieces. I'm also going to be showing you my sketchbook tour for Inktober 2017. Alright, let's head right into the book. So on day one, I only swatched them the inks really. I was really excited to use them, but I hadn't allowed myself to open them before Inktober, so I just opened them and swatched them and did a quick glazing chart. I was going to do a blooming effect here, but I didn't have any time for that and ended up not doing it. Here is day 2 of my Inktober. This is when I was still trying to take notes on the side of what was working, what wasn't, and I was still putting a lot more effort into color theory, as you can see with the little octopus girl there, because I have a lot of swatches next to it. I don't even know if my notes are relevant. I quite like the potion bottles. They didn't take me that long, but they still turned out pretty neat, and it's something that I'm really happy about, so here you go. On day 3 of Inktober, I did this octopus girl, which is actually a redraw of an old octopus girl that I'd done before. I talk about this piece more in depth in the video I made about it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much right now. I think day 4 of Inktober was my masterpiece. I decided to do some mushrooms and I wanted to choose only 2 colors, so I used some blue and some red to do all the shading and all the colors in that image. And I think that by getting different amounts of water in it, I could manage a really nice color variation, which turned out really awesome. When I posted the speed paint of this drawing at the bottom, a lot of people commented that they couldn't stop looking at the mushrooms. This here is day 5 of Inktober, which I've done a video about, and it didn't turn out that great. It's not my best. I wanted to go with the primary colors, but instead of choosing magenta, here I chose red, and I think that worked against me. Day 6 of Inktober was this little pink girl. I freehanded all the plants in the background because I didn't want to rely on line art as heavily as I usually do. So I decided to just go in straight with the background with my paintbrush, and I'm not that good with a paintbrush. I'm still learning. I'm good with a marker. I feel like I'm good with a pen. I don't think I'm good with a paintbrush. So it was an experiment. I quite like how it turned out, but I wish I gave her skin color and didn't leave that in blank because it would have made it better, I think. I hate day 7 of Inktober. On day 7, what I tried to do is I tried to take what I did on day 6 with the background and just do this for an entire piece. So without, I had a very vague sketch, but without any line art, I just went in with my paintbrush and did what I had to do. I could have fixed it and made it better by adding line art, but I do think it's important to me that I was able to see how far I could get without any line art. So that was day 7. Oh no, it doesn't want to open! I'm gonna have to rip it apart. No! Oh, this is just so sad. I don't want to rip it all apart, but I'll have to. Oh, well. Good thing I'm doing a sketchbook tour because it's falling apart right now. This is what happens when your paper gets too wet at the binding. I think this is all because of today's piece, which I'll show you at the end, by the way. It's why my hands are all blue. Alright, so together here on this page we have day 8, day 9, and day 11. Here I wanted to do 3 panels, and for these 3 panels I wanted to use my primary colors again, but this time without the red and using the magenta instead, because the magenta did turn out pretty nice in the potion bottles. I think that this little spread looked pretty nice before I just ripped it apart by opening my sketchbook, but I mean, I like how the first panel is mostly yellow, the second's mostly blue, and the third is mostly like magenta. Another reason why I love this panel so much is because I managed to incorporate a person of color in it, which I didn't do in any of my other Inktober illustrations, and that kind of sucks. This here is day 11 of Inktober, and I am in love with what I did on this day. I don't usually work with greens in the background, but I think the greens turned out beautiful here in the background. There's a video in which I explain my process more for this piece, so I won't go too much into it, but I'm just going to say that I do like how all the colors harmonized together, and I think it ended up very lively and just refreshing. On day 12, I did another redraw challenge. I have a video on that one too, so down in the description, but ultimately I do like how it came out, except that the colors aren't what I anticipated, and I'm quite disappointed with the purple and the black. Fortunately, I redeemed myself on day 13 by doing a really nice purple illustration right here on top, which looks a lot less messier than the rest of the page in my opinion, and just, it's a lot more polished. It looks really nice. So yeah, here I did hands on day 13. Tiny little hands, because I didn't have much time with university. Day 14 and 15 were kind of stressful. I didn't have any time to work on them, so I did them all both on technically day 16, so this one I caught up on the day. This one didn't turn out as nice, which is weird because it's the second one that I made. This is the first one that I made, which in my opinion turned out a lot nicer. This is another one of those no line art exercise that, I don't know, I think it turned out amazing this time. And then in this one I eventually added some line art, so I don't know if it was the right decision. I don't think it was good before line art anyways. Day 16 of Inktober had a little autumn fall witch, and I really liked the color scheme. So I did pretty good there. This girl in the purple and green is day 17 of Inktober. I originally had a sketch of this badass looking girl, so what I did is I did the line art and then I decided to flat color just a green wash and then a purple wash in the background to try to make it look as good as I could in as little time as I could, because although I did the line art in class, I didn't have much time at home to just do a layer and wait for it to dry and do another layer. Mind you, this is on day 17, and in the middle of Inktober I had midterms. If you don't know, I am a third-year university student, which means that my midterms are quite a lot of material to study. This is day 18, and if you remember my speed paint from day 19, then you will know that this bled over to the other side. Here. Here I just wanted to do something with a lot of water and just try to see how expressive I could get with it, and I don't think I quite got the results that I wanted. I think I could have gotten there with more layers. It's just layers equal time, man. Layers equal time. This page is my favorite page that I've done in Inktober so far, and I really like how it turned out because there was a lot of grueling work and a lot of mistakes happening, but I worked through them and made this piece awesome. So if you haven't seen it, check out that video. I don't usually do fan art, but I've been trying to do more fan art recently just because it is something that people enjoy seeing, and I do have a lot of things that I like a lot, like Studio Ghibli for example. So I've been wanting to draw Kiki from Kiki's Delivery for a while, but I also want to draw Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. I also want to draw Howl's Moving Castle. I want to draw all the things. So this was an attempt for me to try to get into fan art through Ghibli. So this here was supposed to be WizWiz's office. If you don't know who WizWiz is, I'm gonna have a link down below. He's a character that I invented here on YouTube, and I wanted to draw his bedroom for Inktober because I thought that would be interesting, and I didn't have time to draw him. So I went with this, but I don't like the blue that I chose for the background because WizWiz's cape is dark blue, and I don't think he would look very nice in his room. So I'm gonna have to change his room design. This is just a witchy room now. I don't know what the point of me telling you that was, since it's not WizWiz's room anymore. Alright, I quite like this page, you guys, so I'm going to explain to you what happened here. These are days 21, 22, 23, and 24 of Inktober, And what happened on these days is my midterms were over, but I went to visit my house, my hometown, which is 5 hours away from here. So I had a long road trip over the weekend, and I didn't have any time to complete these pieces. So when I came back, I decided to do all 4 of them together and catch up on the weekend that I had missed. I did all 4 of these during a school day, which means unfortunately I didn't have much time. So what I ended up doing is I ended up choosing a color palette that would work well with all 4 of these. So I chose a kind of teal blue and then mixed variations of it to use in all these 4 different pieces. So they would have a coherent look, but not exactly the same color. I do wish I had had more time to mix more colors and just fill in this entire thing instead of leaving some areas blank, but what can you do? Something weird happened here. What happened on day 25 in October is that I suddenly remembered that I have white ink and that I haven't used it a single time. So since I didn't like the sketch I had for that day, I decided to cover the entire area black and then go over it with just my white ink and try to just do something flowy, do something cool. So this is what I got. I wouldn't describe it as something flowy or something cool, but I would describe it as a concept that I can use later on. Day 26 of Inktober is this one. And while I quite like it, the footage that I had for it just wasn't very good. I was originally going to post this one. I do have footage of myself drawing it. I just didn't think the light was that good and the colors didn't look as good as they do right now, actually. Right now they look pretty accurate to real life from my phone, but I film with a webcam and sometimes the colors get a bit distorted, and this was the case here. It just didn't look nearly as good with my webcam, so I ended up not posting it instead and doing something different that day. Here you go. This is day 27 of Inktober, so we're almost at the end. This one was also a video, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But yeah, it's probably my least favorite out of this entire sketchbook. Oh no, actually, the last one is. Here's day 29 of October, which is one of my favorite days as well. On day 29, I was not feeling too great about the speed paint that I had just uploaded the day before, so what I decided to do is take a day which was supposed to be a rest day for me and instead work very hard to create this amazing piece which has so many layers, you guys, and I'm really happy that I finished it and that it turned out as nice as it did. Let's turn the page. This is day 30th of Inktober, which didn't turn out that great, but I had originally made a little thumbnail for this piece, and the thumbnail ended up looking way better just because, well, what is this? I just went straight in with a paintbrush and didn't do any line art or sketch. So yeah, quality not as good as it could have been. I do like that I made a thumbnail because that's some progress there. And finally, you guys, the last page of Inktober is a mess. This was originally supposed to be the piece for day 31, but somewhere along the way I dropped a blue bottle of ink all over the page and it just drenched my entire sketchbook, which is why it's falling apart right now at the seam and why a page kind of half detached earlier. Honestly, you guys, I could have just turned the page because there are a couple extra pages at the end. I could have just turned the page and redone it here, but I was annoyed with how wet the edges were, and also I had to wait like 2 hours for this to dry so I could record this video, so I hope you guys are fine with me leaving Inktober on a big bloppy inky mess. If you liked any of my art in this sketchbook, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. You probably are if you watched this far in the video, I would assume. This Inktober journey has taught me a lot about my art and about the art community on YouTube, and I feel like it really helped me grow as an artist. This month I produced more art than I have ever. I think in one day I did 20 sketchbook pages. That is insane. And it's just because the more you create, I feel the more inspiration you have to create, and that's why Inktober is fun for me and it's a challenge that I like. I think out of all the art challenges, Inktober is probably my favorite one. Since Inktober is now over, I'm going to be returning to my usual video schedule, which is one video every Friday and one occasionally on Wednesday, which just, I say that, but for the last 2 months, I've uploaded 8 videos a month, which basically means I upload twice a week. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the sketchbook tour, and I hope that you will join me on my artistic journey and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching!